It's a crime that flies under the radar, often hidden in plain sight. Yet thousands of school-aged children in England are being exploited running drugs for gangs in exchange for money, clothes and food. Shante McCoy is a County Lines outreach worker and says in the last year, because of the rising cost of living, she's seen an increase in the number of children involved, some as young as 12.
Police sometimes do raids of houses and then they find these kids sitting in there and they're counting up money or they're cutting blocks of the drugs, and that's where we really pick them up from. You get the older ones, they say, no, I've been doing it for a long time and, you know, it's normal, it's okay, but it's not normal and they don't understand that it's not normal, they're just being exploited.
A new report estimates that there could be as many as 200,000 children in England aged between 11 and 17 who are vulnerable to serious violence. Those most at risk are teenagers growing up in poverty, in deprived areas, and those from an ethnic minority background. But the problem is growing.
Typically, it's also been very much in disadvantaged areas and marginalised children. We've seen that changing as well over the last 2 years as more and more typical middle-class families have been targeted through social media. So everything is compounding itself and these young kids really are paying the price.
The report is also asking for better support services for families, extra protection for vulnerable children and more investment in mental health services to help young people avoid being exploited. But for these students in Enfield who are well supported through their school and know the dangers, many have friends who've been directly affected.
Because these people showed interest in them, not for the right reasons at all. They just took it as a way of there's care for them and they had their best interest at heart when that wasn't true at all.
In my area, I've realised how many people are unintentionally sucked into this gang culture and they succumb to these pressures. They see, like, whether that's the group pressure, they want to conform, they want to be part of these groups, and they end up unfortunately ruining most of their young adulthood running after these type of things.
Yeah, it can happen to anyone. Like, anyone can get into, like, you know, crimes and gang violence, and I think kind of having that system of just kind of avoiding those kind of factors that might drag you into these crimes is important.
Despite government assurance that it is investing in improving services across the board for young people, those who work with vulnerable children say more work needs to be done. Catherine Nash, 5 News.